Okay, welcome to Chapter 7, Organizations and Information Systems. We've had a chapter similar to this prior, but we'll see if we can get a little deeper into CRM, ERP, and EAI. You'll see what they stand for just in a minute. We'll see how the information systems vary by the scope of operations. We'll see how enterprise systems solve the problems of departmental silos. What does that mean? Well, departments need to be able to collaborate with one another. Consider, for instance, a purchasing department working with the supply department or the an operations department. How does that work together? And we will look at that under ERP. And then we'll see what happens. So, how do they vary by scope? Take a look at the scope up here, the personal, work group, enterprise, and inter-enterprise, and get an idea of how this works. The personal person, the drug salesperson, how do they form with a work group? And then look over here at this. So you get an idea that you start getting 1,000 users or 1,000 plus users, then you have to have something a little different when you move between these right now. How do you solve the problems of working in department silos? Well, you use the same database. For instance, sales and marketing, they don't need to change databases, and I've talked about duplication already. So you make sure that they're using everything is the same, and so you force people really to fall within the same confines of the systems that we're going to be able to use. And at the same time, you don't want different systems using different payment data. I mean, payment data is payment data, and you want that to be consistent regardless of what you're trying to achieve on here. Author says integrate data into a single database. Obviously, that's what I've been talking about since we formed a database. And so you're moving these through the different types of systems. Look at a patient involved in look at the model of a patient discharge where the doctor discharges the patient and who goes through the nurses and the pharmacy and the kitchen and the housekeeping and the family all the way through. This all has to work together. It has to be seamless. So you have to operate this. The pharmacist needs to know, what if the patient just gets up and leaves? The pharmacy would not have any information and be able to schedule medication. The food would continue to go to the room, so hopefully you can get a good idea of what is taking place right here. It doesn't always work, and sometimes you have to do the process reengineering. Now, we've talked about this already. The process that you have behind the scenes has to continually mature, and as things happen, it has to continually get better and better. If not, then a BPR is required. What do you do with that? Well, you try to look at the processes, and you know that it's going to cost money. If nothing else, it costs time. Time is money. So you realize that you're going to have to maybe move responsibilities around. So sometimes one company, one department, one section of a company is burdened, and someone else is maybe not doing enough. So you have to kind of equalize that just a little bit. It does require a lot of work and can require money. So this is to me is the main gist of this chapter. How do CRM, ERP, and EI systems support enterprise systems? Customer relationship management, enterprise resource planning, and enterprise application integration. These three right here will allow us to do what we need to do. Let's look at CRM first. You have a suite of applications very similar to Office 365. You have Access, word processing, and you have Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Outlook, and all these kind of work together. So if you're typing up something in Word, you can cut and paste that into a document that you send. So, this all works together. The process that this uses right now, there's 4 phases through this customer life cycle: marketing, customer acquisition, relationship, and then loss and churn. And churn is what you have left over when you have losses. You have some churn left over. Supporting the customer-centric organizations that aren't customer-centric don't last long anymore. The old days of scientific management, of doing things the way you want to do that, is not going to work anymore. Now we have to work with customer-centric. The customer has to be in charge. Here is the, did I miss a slide? Yeah, customer life cycle. So your target, you get customers in, you relationship, and you lose some customers. High value customers you want to win back. Low value customers, you kind of let them fall off the map. And you know, that may sound kind of cold, but sometimes customers cost more than they bring in. So you have to be real careful here. Customers can cost a lot of money. When I had my business, I had customers that would come in and, for lack of a better word, would waste my time. They wanted to come in and get educated about something, and then they would go off someplace else or go online. Back when online was brand new, they would go buy something. For instance, I had a computer business, and customers would come in and I would educate them on computers and kind of what I'm doing with you all now. And I would educate them, and then they would go to Walmart or the Apple store or someplace and buy a computer and cut me out. And so whether my price was higher or lower is insignificant right now. The problem would be that I'd lose customers. So those customers were low value, and they were kind of nice to get rid of. I learned after a while not to do that. High value customers, on the other hand, you want to win them back, you want to keep them and keep them coming back, and then you develop a rapport and do everything with those customers. Now, CRM applications, again, the database that I've talked about is going to be the center of attention. The solicitation and leads using this, applications, management applications, customer support applications, they all go into this, and then you work from there. ERP applications, you have the database again as a center. You have the different departments, and then they all feed into the same database. The purpose of an ERP system is to keep everything as simple as possible and make sure everything works together. Most companies are doing this right now. This was not the case before CRM came out. You had some customized software, but most of the time everybody did their own thing, and you had departmental silos. Enterprise application integration. You connect system islands together with this to use the different applications so you can operate off of one. You would layer this, and your book explains this quite well, so I don't want to spend any time on this, but you leave functional applications as they are, and then you provide the information for those. This next slide will clear this up a little bit. Design and implementation for the 5 AI components, and that's everything we've talked about so far: the CRM, the manufacturing systems, accounting, and everything. This is all fed by this server that fed by the metadata or the database. So CRM sends a request to the manufacturing system, and it follows through right here and does this. What are the challenges of implementing it? Well, you really don't have anybody in charge except the software guy or whoever created this and put this out. Some of the problems are transitioning, getting people to buy into it. That's a problem with any kind of integrated software applications. And then it's new technology, and sometimes people just have a hard time of adapting and embracing new technology. So what? Workflow problems. IT problems are workflow problems, not software problems. Again, software if it's written right and it works and it's been dummy proofed and tested and everything, it doesn't break. It just doesn't break. It can be upgraded, it can be patched, it can be whatever, but it doesn't break. It's usually a people issue. It's a process issue, and that needs to be fixed. Who fixes it? Well, yeah, it depends on who needs to fix it. Who is the process manager? That's what needs to happen. How do Enterprise IS solve the problems of enterprise silos? Looking at healthcare providers, then you can see who all works with this right now. You look at health clubs, you look at patients at home. Now, can all of this be combined? Can all this be combined and put into a common database or a common system? It's a question you can ask yourself as we do this. And look at here. So you have reports, personal trainer, health clubs. You know, this is what the information systems world is adapting to. So everybody kind of works together. A lot of collaborative efforts. Why would a healthcare professional even get involved if the person is doing everything right? A personal trainer, why would they get involved? A health club, what purpose does a health club have if they don't have the information from the healthcare professional? So hopefully you can see how all of this works together right here. So how does this help you, this information in this chapter? I hope that you understand the levels of information systems and what we've talked about. You know what at least these stand for. Your book will break those down into more narrative and allow you to understand this a little bit better. The salesperson, you had a bad quarter. You know, you can read this I'll give you a second to read it before we discuss it. So, you had a bad quarter. You can get a bonus if you take delivery prior to the end of the quarter, so you can be booked for this quarter. So what do? Do you call and do you say, hey, if you'll do this and do this? You know, does it happen with car sales? I've talked to car sales men and women, and they say yes, they are booked for the quarter, and they will tell customers, hey, I am number 2 right now on the list. If I win, I get a trip to whatever. You can help me by buying your car this week. And so they try to make a go of it like that. Unethical, violating SEC rules, or being fraudulent is sending out side letters, delayed the account, fictitious account. You all have heard these. You've read news articles about the what happens with this right now. You know, again, making side deals with people, with customers. Sell to a fictitious company and ship product to your brother-in-law's garage. And this company then, collections would send a letter. The company doesn't exist. They'd send a letter, send a letter, send a letter. They're not going to pay, so they write it off. And all of a sudden, your brother-in-law has the TV, fictitious company doesn't exist, and it's written off into something else, unethical. Actually, that's probably one away from illegal. One-stop shopping, there I am. I like that. I'm an Amazon kind of person, and so that is what I do. I don't use Bitcoin. I don't use electronic money. I use real money. Is it okay? Probably. Is it more secure? I don't know. I don't use it. So, internet says it is, or the book says it is. But if you go out and read the history of Bitcoin, then you see that it can be accessed from anywhere, and your money is online, just much like your information is online. Excuse me. Just a little review for this right now. I'll finish with this slide right here. How do the information systems vary by scope? We've talked about that, depending on what the user is and the whether it's a user or whether it's a company or a department. How do they solve the problems of departmental silos? They're all drinking from one body of water. They're all sampling one pool, and they're using this right now. So that's all the information I have for this chapter. Good day.